On today's show, we kick it off at Sydney Motorsport Park with max aero and insane speeds at the 2022 Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. Then we let loose at the Bend Motorsport Park for round 2 of the High-Tech Oils Drift All-Star Series. This is Speedweek.
Hello and welcome to Sydney Motorsport Park, the home of the 2022 Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. It's been a long 2-year break, but we cannot wait to get the action back underway as we go for day 2 after an epic day of night and day running yesterday. There's some cloud cover and some cooler temperatures, but the vibe here is electric. Charlie Bullis alongside Warren Luff in what is a pretty busy pit lane, but most importantly, Luffy, we have fans back and an action-packed lineup.
Yeah, look, we're back. And obviously this year we're seeing a lot of different things. It's the first time that we'll be appearing under the lights tonight. Also in the Pro class, we're going to a shootout style format. So like what we see in V8 supercars where it's a one-lap shootout, it's going to be interesting to see how these top competitors really sort of feel under those kind of conditions. We've had already a few dramas with some of our leading contenders yesterday, but we'll get to that later on in the telecast. But as you said, it's great to be back. We've been away for 2 years. We've got crowds, we've got so many cars, we've got so much entertainment off track. It's going to be a great day.
Here's the track map for Sydney Motorsport Park. Turn 1, Armando corner, one corner, all that aero comes into play. The rest of the Sydney Motorsport Park circuit, very, very technical. You can grab a few tenths around, but there's one way to really go around, and that's to go with a man that's done it in his sleep for years, Warren Luff.
Hi, Warren Luff here at World Time Attack. Down here on the Yokohama stand, we've got the Hyundai i30N and we've got the brand new Yokohama 8009 tyres on the car, and we're going to talk about what it takes to go around Sydney Motorsport Park. We're going to go through each corner and show you what it takes to get around here nice and fast. Turn 1 has got to be one of the best corners in Australian motorsport. And again, here at World Time Attack, you're going to see cars topping out at probably nearly 300 Ks at the end of the front straight here, and they will take this corner flat. Most other cars are going to be sort of looking to brake somewhere past 100, but this is a corner of pure commitment. It's all about sort of get the car in there. Cars with a lot of aero will love sort of the amount of grip they can generate through here, and it's all about just small increments of steering and really let the car run out nice and wide again for that short run down to turn 2, and again maximise the braking down here. Turn 2, big braking area, double apex corner, so you tend to sort of run it in quite early, let the car drift out wide, and then this is all about trying to get a good run out of here and be fast through turn 3 on the run down to turn 4. All the cars here, especially in the Pro class, this will be easily flat through here. It's one of the corners where you start to feel the sort of the lateral load of the tyre start to really sort of take over, and then you come out of turn 3, cresting the hill here down into turn 4, looking for your brake marker. It's usually somewhere after the 50 marker. It's generally an early turn in here because it's an uphill corner, so the tyre really grips into the roadway through here. And then as you come out of here, coming into turn 5, you don't let the car run out too wide. You want to get back to the right. Again, it's an early turn in. And Sydney Motorsport Park a few years ago so graciously put all this nice concrete area out here so you can run the car out really nice and wide. The run down into turn 6 is a little bit blind. You come over the crest of the hill, it can be quite hard to find a brake marker, but it's a very easy 90-degree corner. And again, it's all about carrying the speed through early on the throttle, run it out wide here, coming up to what's commonly called Corporate Hill. It's a fast flowing, again, most of the pro cars here will be flat through here, but it's the first downhill corner. So it's important to get the nose in nice and early and let the understeer push you out wide, right out to the track edge, and then coming down here into the hairpin, back to about the middle of the road. And again, generally it's an early turn in here because again, it's another downhill corner, but it's all about being early on the power here. You want to let the car run out, use all the available road, and then this is a really fun part of the circuit. As we come up through here, turn 9, it's a fast flowing corner, a little bit of water on the track at the moment from the overnight rain, but it's all about the setup through here. As you come through, get the car straight nice and early, and again, you're going to see people using a lot of curb on the entry here. Position the car out nice and wide, and this is all about the run onto the front straight here. Up nice and high, apex about the middle of the corner, and then as early as you can get to the throttle, get to full throttle, let the car run out wide, again using all the available road. Down the front straight here at Sydney Motorsport Park, we're going to see cars in the pro class getting somewhere close to 300 kilometres an hour, which is a lot faster than we see from, say, V8 supercars. So that's the lap of Sydney Motorsport Park, thanks to obviously Yokohama and our friends at Hyundai.
Haltech Club Sprint, pretty much our entry-level category here at World Time Attack, but let me tell you, these vehicles have evolved to a point that they're absolute weapons as well. A lot of them still street-based, minor body and aero mods allowed, unlimited engine mods, no sequential trans, no pro drivers, and Ian Baker, CEO of World Time Attack Challenge. Club Sprint, you see so many great platforms throughout the years take on this category.
Chris, it's just great to be back after 2 years, mate. Yeah, it's certainly evolving into this is what started out as a feeder class has evolved into its own level of insanity.
Insanity indeed, and we're seeing a lot of battles at the moment still between the traditional combatants, Evos, WRXs. You do see some odd rear-wheel drive cars. Oh, here's one here right now. That's the RX-7 of Rahul Victor. And here we go through Armando too. Not the place you really want to have a moment like that, but it was an absolute passenger halfway through there. Pulled up on the gravel, and I think he should be A-OK from that. Nice scare there for Rahul.
The other big thing this year, Chris, is we've made the change to the new Yokohama AO52 tyre, which is several seconds faster than the old 8008 tyre. So you're going to see some really fast lap times this year.
Great variety too, like here's the Harrop Toyota 86. A bit of old school Paul Kozaszewski with the 944. He's been a stalwart of Club Sprint for many, many years, still putting that beautiful Porsche around as well.
Every year. That's what's good about this, Chris, the variety.
Yes, BMWs, you name it. Variety of cars, even the new Supra.
Yeah, that's Jonathan Wong. That's he's been doing some development on that with an XF Formula One engineer, believe it or not, a guy named Kyle Engineers that have been doing all the aero on that. So you're seeing that top level motorsport engineering technology filter down right even to our feeder class.
And at the end of Club Sprint, it was Jamal Assad with the Evo 6 going 1 minute 33.776. Absolutely blows the standard out of the water, Ian.
What a time. Can you believe that, Chris? I mean, that would have, won open class several years ago.
And look at the bunch of minute 36s after that, all the way down to 5th spot. GCG Turbos, open class. This is where we ramp up the horsepower and ramp up the aero. Pro drivers are allowed in this category. Unlimited engine mods. Side and rear windows can be Lexan, and there are, well, see if you can see them, some restrictions on body and aero. And Warren Love's got a superstar down in the pits now, Tim Slade.
So I'm down here in the pits with Tim Slade, driver of the Extreme GTR, meant to be driving Hammerhead. Tim Slade, our two-time World Time Attack champion. What happened with Hammerhead last night?
It died, unfortunately. The simple way of putting it. Yeah, we had a little bit of an issue with it when I went out. A pretty simple fix, though, we thought, like maybe just a bit of the fly-by-wire stuff. And then Liam, the car owner, went out in the Pro-Am, and he just gave it like a sort of quick run-up just to make sure it was okay and we'd fix the problem, which we had. And then, yeah, there's a little hole in the side of the block now.
Well, that's never going to be a good thing. But obviously now you can focus here on the Extreme GTR. You've just had that first session there. How did the car feel? What's the potential of this car you're hoping for this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the car felt really nice. I came down here a week or so ago to do some laps, but it was wet, so unfortunately didn't really get much of a read of what it's capable of in the dry. So got a couple of laps in yesterday, and yeah, I think the car's definitely more capable than what we just did then. So yeah, it's just more so me working out how to drive it and get the most amount of speed out of it. So yeah, so far so good. Looking forward to the next session.
Tim Slade can steer anything. So can this guy, Nathan Morecambe, a real battle here into the open class, Ian.
Yeah, Nathan Morecambe, he's been really going well in TCR recently, driving for Hyundai, and it's great to see him back here. This car's had a fair amount of development done on it in the off time, so it'll be great to see what goes on here.
A real GTR versus Evo Lancer battle at the pointy end of GCG Turbo's Open. Morecambe flies down through. Plenty of action here in the open class. Whoa, overcooking it there. Glenn Slender up against the fence, backs the MR2 in there. That's on the last corner before the main straight. Not a good look, but mid-engined, rear-wheel drive, bit of horsepower on board, Ian. It's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, once they let go like that, it's very hard to catch them,
And going from rear-wheel drive, mid-engine to front-wheel drive, front engine, Benny Tran, so quick in the BYP Racing DC2 Integra.
It's really great to see that car back in the BYP boys. They've been focused on club sprint over the past few years, but in the background they've been developing that Integra, and yeah, I think there's more in that than what we're seeing here.
A quick look at the Garmin leaderboard, and it's Tim Slade, GTR Skyline, Nathan Morecambe, Evo Lancer, and Benny Tran, Honda Integra. We'll be back shortly after this break with more highlights from the Pro and Pro-Am categories. Welcome back to Sydney Motorsport Park with 15,000 excited fans taking in Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. Plasma Man Pro-Am class. Strap yourself in for some wild action. Composite and carbon materials allowed, and there's plenty on these cars. Pro drivers aren't allowed. You can use paddle shift transmissions as well. Minimum weight 1,200 kilo or factory minus 20%. Wild machines, Ian.
Certainly are. This is the pinnacle, mate, and they're also allowed nitrous oxide in this class. So yeah, this is 1,000 horsepower plus, very lightweight, high aerodynamic, but no pro drivers.
The Tilton Racing Evo out there with the boss man, Costa, pushing the Evo 9 around. And how's the R35 looking fantastic out there? Brian Bew, the wind-fueled racing
Doesn't that look cool?
Oh, just fantastic. And you know what? We do get to see freedom of expression with these cars. I mean, you won't really see two exactly the same. They've got their own take, and that looks fantastic.
Wine-fueled racing. Andrew Hanmar, he's the guy that cruises with under Suzuki every year when he's out here. He's got a lot of his hand-me-down stuff on that car. A shed-built car, and he's going really well.
Flying down the main straight here on a good lap. Whoa, hey, the rear wing has disintegrated. All that aero load.
Chris Alexander.
Yeah, oh, boy.
That's a 4G63 powered Skyline with over 1,000 horsepower.
Well, it certainly made plenty of steam, that 4G63 in that Skyline. Alexander coming down to finish it, and bang, there goes the top element, a little bit of the side plate as well. And yes, I'm sure he would have noticed that very, very quickly. And if you thought that was the most exciting part of this session, let me tell you, you ain't seen nothing yet. Watch this baby. Big explosion of carbon off the front of the Evo there, Costa. That would have given him a hell of a Friday in.
Yeah, it's another tyre failure, unfortunately. These tyres have been pushed to their limit, and I think they've served their purpose very well over the years. But, you know, this is the pointy end of this motorsport development in Australia, and it's, unfortunately, it's time we're going to have a look at what other options are available to, there's no turnkey solution to cars like with this sort of power and aerodynamics, that we're going to have to experience failures before we can move ahead.
Yeah, I'm down here with Team Tilton, obviously with Costa, just got out of the car, 260 kilometres an hour down the front straight, tyre failure. From your perspective, mate, what happened and how did it feel?
I think the track temp's gone up a little bit higher than what we expected. The day's gotten a little bit warm. We've been monitoring the tyres with cameras all day and testing. I understeer a little bit coming onto the straight, just a little bit hot, and I think that's all it took.
So how confident are you guys that the guys are going to be able to get this back out? I spoke to Louis. He said you guys have got another front guard, but we can see a fair bit of damage to that front splitter. How's it look from your perspective?
I'm not quite too sure, but Louis must know more than me. We've got Mr. Voltex here too, so I'm sure we'll be fine.
Well, there you have it. Yeah. Look forward to seeing these guys back out there. Obviously a very frightening one, but glad to see him still standing here and all okay.
Okay, let's go on board with the fastest lap in Pro-Am. This is Costa with Tilton Racing in the Evo. What an absolute beast. She comes down to stop the clocks here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Goes 1 minute 26.071. That's the quickest of the category. Richard Perini second, minute 33.657 in the Ginetta. And Jay Davidson, minute 34.845 in the Gingerbread Racing car. Royal Purple Pro Class, internationally acknowledged as the baddest time attack cars on the planet. If you can dream it, you can build it, and that's what these cars are. Absolutely dream machines. And talking about a dream boat, Warren Luff's got Barton Moore driving the Porsche.
So down here with defending champion Barton Moore in the awesome RP968. Bart, great to have you back here. A few mechanical dramas yesterday. What was the drama yesterday?
Yeah, we actually broke an input shaft out of the engine, so got a spare. Just lost a couple of sessions yesterday, but all fixed. The boys have done a good job last night, and RP968's ready to rock and roll.
Now, obviously, a lot's been spoken about this car in terms of what its potential, what time can it actually do. We've seen in the past, obviously, a very low 119, nearly broke that Nico Hulkenberg lap record. What can we see tonight?
Well, look, potentially, yeah, it's got more in it. So we're a bit on the back foot at the moment. We'll get a couple of bankers in this morning, and then tonight it'll really light up.
Mate, we're confident you can do it. We're excited to see this car back out there today, so have fun.
Thanks, bud.
When it comes to exotic machinery, you don't get any more exotic than Royal Purple Pro category. On screen right now, Nathan Antonis in the new debutant WRX Flat 6 Subaru on board for Team Got It Rex.
Yeah, no, it's interesting Nathan's driving with us this year, Chris. He's actually been on our commentary team before, and he's a hell of a wheelman, I can tell you. He's got a lot of experience in GT racing, and it'll be interesting to see what he does here.
Yeah, look, he's going to, well, I don't know whether he can quite get into this standard with Barton Moyer driving RP968. This beautiful Porsche billet 4-litre engine making over 1,000 horsepower. It is just an absolute dream to look at and is one of the wildest tin tops in the world. Maximum Attack there, putting huge load on these cars, Ian. Oh.
Yeah, not only load, it's also horsepower, Chris. That that car, I believe, is making well in excess of 1,200 horsepower. And combined with the aero load, we're at the limit of the tyres, unfortunately.
Talk about aero load. We're on board with Brad Shields driving the Tilted Evo here in the Pro category. Good drive out of turn 2 and 3. That billet 4G63 singing a song. Very smooth lap for Shields here, throwing that four-wheel drive platform through. Hard on the brakes now, pulling it up, paddle shifting back to second and third. Maximum Attack. Oh, Brad Shields, that's 11 corners that I reckon he's got just about right. It flies down the main straight, goes 1 minute 20.97. Now, let's jump on board. The baddest of them all, 968. Oh, Marno, Maximum Attack for Barton.
It's incredible seeing these cars go through there without lifting off the throttle, isn't it?
Of course, rear-wheel drive platform, there's 1,000 horsepower to deal with here, so Barton's got to be a little bit more sensitive to throttle. Thousands of laps around Sydney Motorsport Park, but then when you hop in a car like this,
I don't know what they've got this tuned at, but this engine's capable of making 1,500 horsepower. This is just mental, really.
almost driving it with the fingertips, you notice there, Barton. I mean, he's holding on to it for dear life. Oh, look at this, a little bit of correction. Not ideal over the bumps, but still pedal down. Has he done enough? A little bit of opposite lock in a couple of spots there for Barton Moyer. Out and out horsepower here for RP968. Hits the strike, 1 minute 20.101.
I've got some very special Porsches down here in pit lane. Thanks to Nulon Racing, we've got the 906 and the 356, and with them, their exceptionally lucky owner, Ron Goodman. Ron, thanks so much for being here. And I think what the wonderful thing is this little number has got a Bathurst lap record. Tell us all about that.
Last time we took it out to Bathurst for its first run ever, we were lucky enough to break the lap record by 33 seconds, and that was because of Luffy. He helped us. And so today we've got Luffy driving one of the other cars, and hopefully I can get in front of Luffy.
And tell us about the other special car that you've got. It's actually got a jet engine in it, or a plane engine. So how did all of that come about?
Yeah, we were building a new car, the 356 Aero, and there's an Australian company that builds aeroplane engines, so we collaborated with them and bought the engine and put it into the 356 and nitrous oxide, and now it goes really fast.
Really fast, definitely. So if you had to pick one, who's your favourite?
Whichever one Luffy isn't driving, I suppose.
Absolutely. So you went out yesterday, had a bit of fun around Sydney Motorsport Park, and you and Luffy are going to do it again today. And I actually heard you this morning. You said, Luffy, which one do you want to drive? And he went, oh, you know, I took that one for a spin yesterday. I might just jump in the 906, but you guys are going to have a great time around here.
Oh, we'll have a fantastic time. Yesterday was unbelievable. Today will be even better.
Let's talk about the Bosch ABS system. You were a proponent of getting that into these cars. Can you tell us a bit more about how it came to be?
In putting everything together for me to do this event again with Murray, the now previous owner of Hammerhead, I basically said to him, I think, from the last time I did World Time Attack, the most cost-effective way of achieving a faster lap time would be to install the Bosch ABS system. As much as you probably like to think you're that skilled and can maximise the braking areas yourself with your right or left foot, yeah, I think it's pretty hard to beat that system, and definitely makes life a hell of a lot easier for the driver.
So you would say if you can have an ABS system like a Bosch system, you would have one any day of the week?
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, World Time Attack is all about the fastest lap possible over just the one single lap, and that's the whole mantra around how these cars are built. So for sure, if there were the initial boxes to tick, yeah, the Bosch ABS system would definitely be one of them.
So you're in the driver's seat of both of these cars, and a lot of people might not understand how better brakes make you go faster. So how does that come about behind the wheel?
Braking is a huge part to going fast in any race car, and you see in some other categories that don't have ABS, I guess when drivers are exploring the braking zones and the limits of the braking and the grip available, you see them lock up a wheel and fire off the track and maybe even have a little scrape with the wall, whereas there's obviously no fear of that with the ABS system, and it really does maximise the braking zones.
So with the Bosch system, it's not like a regular road car ABS. There's a lot of tuning you can do with that. What feedback have you given to the team about what you like about it, and what capabilities of the system have made you more confident in these cars?
Yeah, so I guess, with the motorsport system, it has a lot more control over each individual wheel, and we have the knob adjuster in both cars. So essentially, depending on the grip that's available, from either the tyre or the track, or, if there's bumps in any braking areas or anything like that, then yeah, you can basically tune that to suit the conditions that you have. So yeah, you can essentially make it, more or less aggressive.
Thanks, Tim. We look forward to seeing you next week at World Time Attack Challenge. And if this video is out after that, we would have seen you. And have fun in these cars, mate.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Look forward to it.
For the first time in World Time Attack history, we go under lights here at Sydney Motorsport Park, and boy, have we always got treats for you. What about this one, Ian?
Yeah,
pull them out of the bag.
A very famous car from the 80s called a Kaditcha. It was designed by Barry Locke, that has designed a lot of the Time Attack cars here. It was basically designed to go to Le Mans. And the owner, Bap Romano, who's quite a famous motorsport identity within Australia, property developer from Queensland, who built this to go to Le Mans. It was way ahead of its time. It actually used a lot of the parts of the Tyrrell Formula One car of the day. Unfortunately, it had a big shunt at Amaru Park back in the 80s, and by the time they'd repaired the car, took a few years to repair it, and it was actually outdated and couldn't race at Le Mans anymore. But the car's been restored with a fresh Cosworth motor in it, and it's we decided to bring it down here and put on a show.
Oh, it sounds a treat, that Cosworth V8. Just one. And H-pattern, well, who would have thought? H-pattern's back then, Bakes.
Yeah, there was no sequential back then. But you can see the tunnels, like the aerodynamic form hasn't changed since the 80s. It might have been developed into something, far more refined, but the actual basic design's still similar.
Yeah, this car, I do remember as a teenager watching this on television, running in, well, the only place I think he could really run it was in sports sedan, but
Well, the sports cars racing was big back in the 80s, so, yeah, it was it's certainly from a bygone era, but it's good to bring it to life back here for our fans, and show them, sort of a bit of motorsport history.
Another one of your rolling history lessons, Ian. I love it.
Is, yeah.
We've got a new generation of World Time Attack fans that need to be taken back in time, and hey, it is a time tunnel when you come to Sydney Motorsport Park around World Time Attack. Okay, part 2 of our rolling motorsport history lesson, and Ian Baker, bravo for finding the McLaren M8 and Harry Jones.
Have a listen to this, Chris. It's a big block Chevrolet. It's got 700 horsepower and it weighs 700 kilograms. And let me tell you, Harry Jones, that's a name you're going to hear more of. This kid can pedal.
Doesn't sound like it's working too hard, but it doesn't have to when it's 8.3 litres of aluminium big block.
I think you'll find it's going faster than you think. This car, we on it just a hand stopwatch, we timed it at 1:30, and that's in 1970 specification.
Yeah, no wind tunnel testing back then, no computer simulation. It was Bruce McLaren's dream to build the lightest possible car, put the biggest possible engine in it, and then Can-Am, what a beast of a motorsport formula.
Yeah, that was basically, it had to be a two-seater car, and you could basically do whatever you wanted. Apart from that, it had to have 2 seats.
A real rolling museum piece. Who would know what this thing would be worth as a valuation?
I think they told me about 700,000. This is actually Vic Elford's car. It's got quite a very colourful history over the years. He was a famous driver out of the US, and they brought it out here, and Harry's dad owns it, and he's put Harry in it, and man, what a treat for us fans.
Let's just let the big block Chev sing down the front here. One thing about Harry, he's not sparing it either. I think he's been given instructions.
Yeah.
Send it. One of the more exciting elements to World Time Attack is the Turbo Smart Flying 500, where we demonstrate speed over 500 metres, Ian.
And there's no better way than timing it with the New South Wales Highway Patrol LiDAR. The New South Wales Highway Patrol have been big supporters of our event right from many years ago, and a couple of the guys have competed in there, and it's all about, enjoying your cars in a safe environment.
And the perfect beast mainly has to be four-wheel drive to get all the power down here. That's why I suppose Skylines and these Lamborghini Hurricanes are such weapons.
Yeah, well, I mean, this stuff, while the other guys boast about 1,000 horsepower, this sort of starts at 1,500 horsepower in a road car. So it's quite exciting to watch, and it's basically, it's not a time thing per se, it's more about what speed they can do.
That's right, they hit the radar trap at the 500 metre mark. And that's a nice one, over 280. A lot of the heavy hitters are running over 280 kilometres an hour.
Close to 300 kilometres an hour, yeah.
Within that 500 metre
on
stretch.
road radials too, they're no slick tyres, so. This was interesting. We raised some money for the Starlight Foundation. Tony Violas helped us with that. We put Warren Luff in there, raffled a couple of rides off in this car.
Flying through there too, and again, you were a lucky winner of one of those laps at the Starlight Children's Foundation.
Yeah.
It's an absolute treat. You'll never forget that moment. Another one over 280k an hour.
Yeah, it's not surprising really when these are American, or a lot of the development started in America, but the companies like Precision Racing are doing their own development out here now, and they're making over 2,000 horsepower.
Here's a screaming RB for all those Aussie GDR fans. screaming through, and again over 280. So there you go, a real Lambo slayer there. The Birong Automotive.
Yeah, Alex, a drag racer from Sydney-based drag racer, has been building a lot of tough GTRs for years.
We are on board an incredible RX-8, and this car, would you believe, was not even scheduled to be anywhere in the features here at World Time Attack. It just turned up on a trade stand, and Ian, tell us the rest of the story.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I bumped into Rocky Rayham. I've been mates with him for 30-odd years, you know, and they've been very big into drag racing, and I thought I'd try and coerce them into what, you know, come and show them what we're doing, and they told me about this car, and I said, bring it along, and when we got it here, they said, can we run it? It's cool. And I went, righto, let's make it happen. So we did.
And of course, one thing that kind of really is the missing link is that this is actually a car with bona fide motorsport heritage.
Absolutely. This car actually won a very famous race.
Yeah, the Rolex 24-hour Daytona. So this car has got some a few racing scores.
Certainly got some pedigree there, yeah.
And of course, owned by the Ingram family. Driven right now, I do believe, and it'll be running as a sports sedan lately, Matt Ingram.
Yeah, so, you know, these guys, you know, they just couldn't thank me enough for doing this, and, you know, it's great to expose people who've never been here to World Time Attack and to let them out on the track, you know, it's something else, particularly when you've got a car like this, you know.
Oh, an absolute treat. And, yeah, the schedule got shuffled around a little bit once this car was known to be, not only on display, but a full functioning sports sedan with all its right stickers, and he just couldn't resist taking this fantastic car out for a lap. Looks fantastic.
It's hard to beat a rotary at full song, really, isn't it, Chris?
That's right. They've built a Pack 20B for it. And the Ingram boys have told me that they used to go and see the Pack boys run at Eastern Creek in the drag day.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of crazy things,
Mr. Matt Mingay and, well, I shouldn't say employees. I know that they're all part of a fantastic display, and they do plenty of shows around Australia. They just absolutely set Sydney Motorsport alight here under lights.
And he's got his son with him this year too, you know, that Madsy. You know, he's trying to upstage Dad, and I'll tell you what, he's doing a bloody good job.
You talk about a father-son angle. Well, this is about the most extreme father-son angle I've ever seen. But Matt, no stranger on the motorbikes, cut his teeth with the bikes early on in the piece. Still a great stunt rider. Loves to ride the bigger Buell-style Harley vehicles. Lets the other guys stay on the rice rockets. All the normal stunts and tricks. Mingay can almost start a stunt school himself, but
yeah,
he's just
you know,
too
he's
busy.
always evolving though, Chris. You know, he's continually investing in new gear and, you know, putting on a new show. We've had him here over the years a few times, but every time he comes back, he's got something different to show, you know.
Well, we've certainly got plenty of smoke, plenty of action, and plenty of air when Matt Mingay and co took to the main straight at Sydney Motorsport Park. And for the first time ever, under lights here at Sydney Motorsport Park, we have our first Super Lap shootout, Bakes. Of course, it's all about taking the top 5, starting with the 5th one out there on a flyer. One more lap to try and unseat everyone above you.
Everything up to 11 now, Chris. This is where there's no holds barred. Pull out all the plugs and let's go.
All right, out there now is Michael Garland, the Got It Rex Subaru Impreza. It went minute 36.434 to get itself here, but he's had to go out there and see if he can attack. Adam Kazmiri as well, the GR Yaris, and you know what? I think we're going to see a few more of these hot hatches in the future in this class, because these 3 bangers can make plenty of horsepower, and with people like Kazmiri driving, the sky's the limit.
He's a multiple open class champion in the JDM Yard Honda, and he's now switched to the little Yaris.
The Land Speed Racing E-Leg Brakes GR Yaris was fantastic. Up there now, Trent Grubel, the DC Jap Automotive Impreza. He went win at 36.074 to be podium, but can he do a little bit more to knock over Adin Ahanga, who's Got It Rex WRX in front of him? But let's just see how he goes here. Various WRX variants in the top 5.
He's actually racing in Formula 3, Trent Grubel, at the moment. And not a professional driver, but he's a self-funded Formula 3 racer. So he certainly knows his way around here.
All right, we've seen Kazmiri, we've seen Garland. Grubel goes minute 36.074. but no banana. He needed quicker than 1:35, 2:28 from this guy, Adin Ahanga, the Got It Rex Subaru Impreza. How good does Sydney Motorsport Park look under the floodlights here?
It certainly does, mate. It's like it's a breath of fresh air after 2 years of not seeing the place, and come back and it's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, we get to see the glowing brakes. We get to see anything that might be causing some friction out there to light up for us. Now, he's got a huge job to do here, Adin, because Jamal Assad, who he's chasing, is a good 2 and a bit seconds faster. So unless he's got this thing wound off the clock wastegate-wise, it's going to be tough. 1:35, 2:28. That is an improvement, but not enough to take on this guy. So the Super Lap shootout leaves the number one, the top dog out there, Jamal Assad. Mind-blowing year for this car. Huge horsepower increase. And as you said, the tyres are definitely helping.
So the big one, although they've increased the horsepower on that, they've done also some aero work, but the big thing that he said, the big change from this was the Bosch Motorsport ABS. So that made probably, he said, about 2 seconds difference.
How about that? If that's not a great advertisement for Bosch Motorsport ABSs, I don't know what is. And 1:33.776. He takes home the gold in unprecedented timing.
Absolutely incredible. Seeing cars at this level of performance in Club Sprint class is just insane, Chris.
Tail of the tape there all the way down to 20th spot. The class of 2022 for Haltech Club Sprint. It's Super Lap shootout time for GCG Turbos Open. And out there right now, you're seeing the Subaru WRX.
S&J Motorsport, Dan Day, all the way from Adelaide. This car's mostly competed around Australian hill climbs, extremely successful. Very limited aero, but a billet engine, 1,000 horsepower plus, and a hell of a wheelman.
Out there right now, we can see Entra 33, Liam Hooper from Car Mods Australia, the Impreza. A little bit wilder, a little bit crazier. And looks like he's got the wastegates wound fairly in.
Yeah, it's another Brad Sheriff tune car. He turns everything up to 11, Mr. Sheriff, I can tell you.
So pushing very hard here is Liam Hooper, the Super Lap shooter. As we say, you start with our 5th outright and work your way up to number 1 to see if you can peel one crazy lap right at the end of the night when the conditions are perfect. Liam Hooper comes flying down, trips the timers at 1:32.337. All right, next on the list here, entry 22, is Darren Bishop, the Rev Zone Evo 7, another wild machine.
Yeah, it's been around for many years, this car. I'm pretty sure this is the car Tarzan drove a few years back.
I think that's spot on there, Ian, indeed. It's had the new lick of paint looking resplendent in the green. And no effort spared here at all. This is the one lap where you've just got to throw it all out there and see whether or not you can improve in your performance. It's not a bad performance for him as he comes flying through and goes 1:32.681. Good time there for him, but will not feature any higher up in the results. Now, this guy's Mr. Excitement, Benny Tran. For all the Honda lovers out there, go the front-wheel drive.
Also, this is one of the rare cars. Most of the cars out here are turbocharged. This car's supercharged. The Tran Brothers BYP Performance specialise in fitting these superchargers to track cars and been very successful with it. It's a very successful formula. You would
assume the throttle response out of corners is second to none. Benny Tran goes to show that you don't have to be turboed to be fast. 1:29.861. That's third outright. Now here's Morecambe. He's got it all to do. Now remember, Tim Slade in the Extreme GTR went 1:27.379. Morecambe was only about a tenth away from that. Showed a lot of faster incremental times every session after that, but could not tip Tim Slade. So Tim Slade effectively been in the clubhouse for nearly the whole day with a hurt RB engine in Extreme GTR. But Morecambe, can he find that extra tenth? Oh, visibility here under lights is fantastic, inside or out. Now Morecambe, as we said, incrementally was faster than Tim Slade, but could not put an entire lap together. Oh, a bit of smash carriage, just to remember Mozza. That was the term he'd use, and under lights it looks even bigger. All right, not too many corners left here for Morecambe. Can he find that tenth or two? He was faster in the earlier segments than the Extreme GTR. But as we said, Tim Slade, nowhere to be seen now because the car had been retired with a hurt exhaust valve. It's up to Morecambe. Can he uncork one of these crazy laps where you just have everything go perfect? No more to do here than hope and pray that you got those 11 corners right. He hits the post. Last run of the night for Open. He does it. He does it on the last hit. He goes minute 27, 2:47.
That's a new Open class record, Chris.
Talk about holding that up to the last lap of the event for the class. And a new record for the Open class as well.
There's Big Nick York, the owner there. They'll be over the moon.
Nathan Morecambe takes over from top spot. Tim Slade in second. Benny Tran in third. The tail of the tape for the 2022 GCG Open class is as follows.
Nathan Morecambe, you did it the hard way. Talk us through it.
Oh, it was bloody awesome. We left it to the last minute. We didn't plan for it, but what a special way to do it. Thank the Gas boys. They did a ripper job to get the car back out there. The car was a rocket around there. Too bad I didn't see lap time, though. So I don't know what I did, but I know I won, so woo!
Good job, mate. We'll see you back here in 12 months, hopefully to defend the title.
Sweet, will be.
Plasma Man Pro-Am Super Lap Shootout under lights here at Sydney Motorsport Park, and we're starting with this beautiful Nissan 180SX, Andrew Handmer from New South Wales.
This really is home built. You know, it's built in his shed at home. He gets tips off under Suzuki, just tries things, and he's made it into the top 5, so it's awesome.
You don't see too many S13s around anymore. They are becoming quite a rare vehicle. I think the Drift Boys had a fair whack at a few of them.
They did a bit of a fundraiser to buy him some new tyres, you know that, Chris. And everyone threw some bucks at him, and he was going to be turning up on used tyres, but yeah, all his supporters got behind him, and yeah, mate, he's out there.
Oh, what a great lap. He's improved again, so that was a PB, I think, for this weekend. Minute 35, 8:14. Oh, here we go, wine fuel racing. Yeah, I can relate to this car. I love it. Brian View, that big Nissan VR38 on board, the R35 Skyline. Got to be one of the heaviest cars in Pro-Am, you would assume.
There's a bit of a history to this car too. This engine that's in this car was actually lent to Life Motorsport many years ago when they had the engine failure in 2015. I
remember that in the back of the ute. Oh, yes. Oh, plenty of brake action there, getting those front brakes nice and hot. That's Stephen Fawkes now, the Bitten Motorsport in Preza.
That's another car out of the GT Auto Garage stable in Queensland.
And on an absolute flyer here is Stephen Fawkes. What can he uncork here on his last lap of the event? Minute 35, 056. Whoa, so far just outside the top 3. All right, they come thick and fast, one after the other here at Super Lap Shootout mode. This one is Jay Davidson, the Gingerbread Racing in Preza WRX.
Yeah, that's an entry we haven't seen before, Chris. Yeah, he's made it right to the pointy end of Pro-Am, which is fantastic.
Oh, you know what? We love these new teams coming in. One thing about having World Time Attack in Sydney every year, well, it's been a 2-year gap. It just gets the workshops inspired to bring something out to run here at the motorsport mecca that is Sydney Motorsport Park. He goes minute 33, 5:94. That's a huge number for him. Every segment quicker than the other. Here he is, Richard Perini now. You don't see too many G55 Genettas around here.
And you don't see any with R35 GTR motors like this one either.
Oh, that's an Australian Genetta.
Yeah, it's packing about 1,000 horsepower.
I just wonder whether or not the international attention from all the other Genetta owners might spread around. Yeah. They might need that Aussie engine conversion where you get the VR38 on board. Now, Perini, very, very quick already. It really has woken up this car. And yeah, gone to 1,000 odd horsepower of GTR V6. And as far as the rear-wheel drive combo is concerned, seems to work very, very well indeed. Now, of course, a no-show was Costa, of course, from earlier incidents, but Richard was our highest placed racer that could be in the Super Lap Shootout. Minute 33, 8:46. That gets him on podium, I think, for the first time ever, Ian.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I think he'll be over the moon with that, I can tell you.
So there's the class of 2022 for the Plasma Man Pro-Am category. Super Lap Shootout for Royal Purple Pro category. And yes, we're starting and just about effectively finishing with Nathan Antones, the Flat 6 Subaru, the Got It Rex team. And the reason for that, Ian, of course, is that battle of attrition. These vehicles, we've had a few issues with the other cars earlier on today. They put the big numbers down early, but as far as the Super Lap shootout's concerned, they could not attend.
Yeah, unfortunately, both PR, the RP968 and also Tilton, been too much damage with all the carbon fibre parts to repair in time to get out again tonight. But look, the good news is this car got it Rex. This is their first year doing this, and I can tell you, mate, they'll be amped. And I reckon we'll see them come back as a serious contender next year.
I think they got their eyes on the old Andy Forrest record when they came over from Scotland a few years ago, and they want that flat six Subaru record.
Certainly do. Yeah, I had a chat to them down in the garage, and that's exactly what they're aiming for, Chris.
Well, this weekend, minute 28.870, they've no doubt at the beginning of the development, but they'll be back. So as the history shows, Barton Moore, the RP968, minute 20.101, just a smidgen away from his PBs. Well, what an event to be back here after a 2-year break. Sydney Motorsport Park underlights the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've seen plenty of stuff to show us that the scene is by far nowhere near evolved. Stay tuned for next time we see you here at Sydney Motorsport Park for more action.